Hello everyone, and this is going to be a slightly different one to my normal castles, where I am going to chat about some of the feedback that I think on the game at the minute. Decided to change my castle around layout style, as some of you may or may not noticed in the upcoming videos. So this is the video of what I've done and how I've done it. First of all, I love Bethesda, I love the games, I love Skyrim, I love Shelter, I love all the Fallouts and even Starfield, so I am a fan of this kind of game. I did love Shelter many years ago, and have come recently. As much as I don't want to compare this game, Castles, to Shelter, there are some similarities, but it is a completely different game, and I think it should stand on its own 2 feet. I like the layout. I think it looks very castle-y, sort of definitely Elder Scrolls kind of thing, and with the different rooms and the changing colour and popping bits around, and just to look at the theme of it, really, it just looks really good. I like it. It's easy to understand. So you get through the game, it tells you how to build the bits and bobs at the beginning. It tells you where to place them, what they do, how to put your people in. And I think it's nice. The design and the layout of it is good. It looked like from the trailers, and I just think, yeah, I like that it has a medieval theme to it. Is what I really like to it. The buildings, I think they're great. Looking at you only zoom in and having a look at the different design of each of the buildings and some of the buildings that you can buy for gems and stuff. I think I like the design. I think they're really good, and how the people interact with the buildings as well is really good. That is slightly different in the way of how the buildings work. So what I do really love from other games, is once you build a building, the building is built. I hate games that when you save all your resources to build a building, you've then got to wait a stupid amount of hours for the room to actually be built, or the building to be built. So this is, again, similar to Fallout. Once you build the room is first built. Where it differs is you can upgrade the building, and you've obviously got to use the building to gain the experience, which is good. So it has to be occupied and in use, producing stuff, whether it's resources, whether it's clothes, whether it's weapons. Once it's got the experience bar up, then you can just upgrade it straight away. That is on standard buildings. When you get the premium buildings, it skips the experience part, so you can just ramp it up. But I think that's good for the buildings. You get uses, and definitely they all get used. Moving on to people, I am not a massive fan of the character details, purely because they all look the same. I think I'd like a little bit more features, because they all look the same, but I know sort of how they've cartoonized and how they've designed it doesn't quite work. But I think, I'm missing a little bit of personality to each of the people, is my personal opinion. But they've gone how the people are. You've got traits, and the different traits on each people do different things, and that could be a whole video in itself, to be fair. But they don't have like the specials and the super dwellers like you did in Shelter. These people, you're born with traits, and that's the traits. As far as I'm aware at the minute, there's no way to make traits, or there's no way to get rid of traits, barring kicking the people out of the castle. I like that system. I like it a lot. I think it brings a lot of variety, and with breeding is a bit of a minefield at the minute, because you don't know what special you're going to get, and I don't know if it is just truly random, or whether there is a little hack to that you can try and pick more of the traits that you want. But at the moment, I haven't worked anything out. I did think at one time that it was more of the female top trait would pick priority, but it looks like it's just complete random. struggling to get more legendary babies to have 5 traits, but as a whole I like the trait system. Apart from sophisticated and bossy people, they're a pain in the arse, but as a whole I think that is quite a cool little touch, and it just tries to make the people management a little bit more diverse and difficult, because you've got to try and put the right people in the right places that gel with the right team. Otherwise you get unhappy people and fights or your king gets stabbed, as I have found already. But babies on the other hand, it doesn't have to just be male or female, it can be anyone with anyone. They don't necessarily have to be married either, but it's best to, I'd say, marry them and then have children, because if you have lovers and jealous people, it does not do well for the society in the castle. Trust me on that one. It doesn't go well. And mixed reviews on how long it takes the babies to grow, but I think my feeling on that was squashed with how many potions you actually do get throughout the game, and that is quite a theme for the whole game so far. Like speed potions, you do get quite a lot of speed potions. I mean, I'm nearing now level 100 and I've got something like nearly 70 potions of speed. It's more than enough. You're not going to sit there and bang out 60 in one turn because you really need this piece of armor. Again, the growth elixirs, I don't know how many I've got, but I'd say I've got quite a few growth elixirs and I haven't bought any of them. And then you get the arcane hourglass as well. I think, to be fair, the game is quite generous in what it gives you, and it does allow you to boost them fairly easily. So yes, it takes 18 days perhaps to raise a child up, but it also takes 18 days for someone to die. So yeah, but you can upgrade them. It's not an issue, and you don't need 5 million people to run your castle. You only need however many stations you've got, realistically, because you don't want people walking around like a melon. It's just no point in the game to do that at the minute. Yeah, it's different. You don't have children raise it up quickly. I quite like it. I think it's a different take on the game, and I quite like it. The king's tasks, or the royal tasks if you like, I think that brings a nice dynamic to it. To be fair, there's not a lot. I haven't found a lot of repetition, a lot of repeats. Some are same, some are not. I've only had a couple of eclipses. I've had one rat. I've had a couple of ghosts and stuff. So it brings a nice diverse, and there is a consequence to your action, and that goes for happiness as well. Like if you have many heirs, you got to pick which one, and the other one doesn't like you, and then you end up getting stabbed. Or you go into an eclipse and you've got tasks to do this to get that, and I think that brings a nice little change to it, rather than perhaps just would have copied from Shelter, that just go into the wasteland or just go out the kingdom and go and find stuff and come back. This is a cool little way to get your items and spend coins, a lot of coins, to make people happy, as I found recently. But that could just be me. But yes, you get different things on there, and there's also different towns. I've had a couple of different towns. You got the Yorkshire town, you've got the Britain town, you got Raven River something around. So there's different plots which they can explore, which I will do a whole new video on, things that I would like to see in the future. Well, that's all quite interesting. That people come into town, and you even get 2 of your people come on and say they want to build a pub. So that's quite cool. So you actually see this pub, but they have bought a pub apparently, or they're just fleecing me for money, one of the two. So they're quite cool. I like this task. I like the way it goes. It's not got boring yet, and I just think they're quite cool, and they keep you on your toes to make happiness, because happiness is a big thing in this game, and it can be a little bit of a challenge. Although I do think it's quite funny that someone's really angry and just goes to tell them to read a book and they get happy. So each to their own. Quests. At the beginning I wasn't sure about quest lines, it just seemed a little bit tedious that you just got to go through quest line after quest line after quest line, but to be fair, I actually quite enjoy it. I try to go through all the quests and then try and 3-star them all, and to be fair, some are quite challenging as you get where you are. I think the level challenge and to where you are mimics itself quite well, so you're never at a hard point, or I've never come across a hard point where I couldn't get any further. I wasn't hard stuck. I just had to rest my people up and use a potion or two and swap a couple of weapons around or upgrade some of the weapons. So at the moment I'm quite enjoying that. The level of difficulty is just enough to keep going up and up and up to get to the next level, to get to the next resource, to get to, get it from your iron to your steel to your steel to the silver. So yes, I like the battlefield layout. I like the fact that they come across and they do things, and it reminds me very much of Might and Magic, which is quite cool because I really love that game. The only thing I don't quite like about the battlefield is that when the enemies come in, they seem to have to come in quite a long way through the battlefield before you can select them. And I don't know why that is. So if you're all on the right hand side, the enemy walks past you before your guys can select him before they go. So I'm not sure, but that annoys me a little bit because I want to keep my people in to where they're going to hit. But that's the only downside that I don't like about battling. The gauntlet. I think the gauntlet's a nice touch. They have recently buffed it, but I haven't gone and had a look at it yet. But the rewards were a bit lackluster, I have to say. I mean, the dragon at level 25 was a pain in the bum. I did defeat it and went up to 30 something, but I only got a couple of 100 gold and I think an armor suit, and it wasn't like, yeah, I want to go and do it again. It was so apparently they've made it slightly easier. They've made it more rewarding, so there will be a video coming on the gauntlet to see if I can beat my highest score. I'd like to know what your highest scores are. If you people want to comment below how far you've got. Special events, when they first announced that there was going to be a special token coin, I was a bit like, it's going to be pay to progress kind of thing. It's going to be, you're going to hit a wall and you're going to have to pay money, and that's not the case. To be fair, the special events I think is quite good. The most challenging one I've had so far is the very first one where you get a soul cutter, but my god, if anyone starts the game, you need to get the soul cutter. That'll see you right up to questline 4 easily. It is such a good weapon at the beginning, you need it, trust me. And the other questline that I really liked at the minute, or recently, is the Winterhold College Archrival one, where you got to choose a legendary artifact at the end, and that was awesome. The loot I got from that was great. But yes, they start off really easy until you get to halfway through, and then it ramps up, and then the bosses at the end are quite challenging, if I'm going to be honest. They are quite challenging, and they're not easy, but they're not difficult. I think, I don't know how they do the difficulty level, but I like them. They haven't been too much repeated. You've got a couple of questline ones, you've got resource ones, you've got ones to make up, you've got baby ones. So yes, so I like that. And the special coins in the special coins shop aren't ridiculously expensive for how much you get. I think the 2,000 ones that I bought were quite easy to get, and I got the 2 premium kitchen and oil, which has helped a lot. I think I want to get the 900 bundle, which is no longer there, so I'm a bit dubious of what to spend them on now, but that will get me the other 3 resources. But yeah, I think for what you get and how many you get to what you can spend them on, I think is reasonable. The one thing I do fear about moving forward is that as buildings get more upgraded and go through the quest line a bit more, and you've got your shop that you can get your tasks and get money, I do feel that there's going to come a pinch point or several pinch points before you buy other buildings. So if you're not going to have enough clay or linen to upgrade, or you're not going to have enough gold, I think you definitely need to get more the food, oil, and the mill premium buildings as quick as you can. Otherwise you are going to hit a pinch point, and I just worry that there's not going to be enough gold. Not that I've maxed out a building yet, so I don't actually know what the max level is, but I have a feeling that gold and resource to build and upgrade your buildings is gonna come to a pinch point coming up further, or it's going to be more of a grind, and I'm not sure how that's going to affect moving higher up now that they've increased the level to 300. So that will be interesting to see how that pans out. But other than that, I do think overall it's a very good game. It's definitely a building management style game. It has its quirks. It has a theme of the Elder Scrolls. It's definitely castly, medieval. I'm quite happy with it. It's not a quite copy and paste Shelter, which is good. It does stand on its own thing. I will be doing another video on future things I would like to see coming in. So if you've got any suggestions and I can mention them in my video that you suggest these, by all means mention them away. How do you feel about the game? But at the moment I'm currently enjoying it, and raising through the ranks, and I'm loving life at the minute. So that's my little rant about my feedback to the game, and you can see that I'm still building my castle in the background. And on that bombshell, we'll leave you on that one, and we'll look forward to joining you in the next castle. Thank you very much.